measure from the wall to the fascia. I minus 6 inches. I put my two elbows together. I set that thing on the ground. You can take the elbows, the elbow, the rake, and the elbow, which we call the top at the rake. You can take that and put that onto your downspout. All right, everybody, it's Tim and Grant with another Gutter Growth podcast. Today, we're going to talk some installation insight. This topic is brought to you by One Gutter Guard. Hey, good morning, Tim. How are you?
What's up, brother? How you doing today?
Hey, just talking gutters.
That's it.
We were thinking about the fact that we've been given a lot of business insight and we have so much more coming. But today we wanted to talk a little bit more about the install, right? What are you thinking we should be talking about?
I just feel like, sure, marketing and all that, is great. You need it. That's how you're going to put fire on the fuel. But a lot of the profits come down to structuring it out. Like you can only take on so much work if you can't handle it. So, I mean, you got to have the right processes in place on installation. And I kind of just want to talk about installation and the process of a job start to finish. Maybe give a little bit of my perspective, a little bit of your perspective, and, let them
No,
know
I
how
agree. I agree. Let's dive right into it. Hi, this is Grant Hubbard with another Gutter Growth podcast for you. I want you to know that this podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, your exclusive premium guard option. Now enjoy the show. A lot of people, like you said, they're getting help with the marketing. They're getting help with the top end and the what they're getting to keep. We're helping them understand how to hire people and when to fire people, right? And just all this stuff. But do you actually have good, better, or best installation guys on your team? Because I'll talk about myself for a second. Obviously, hiring, mainly rookies and stuff like that, that could really inhibit us trying to do $2.5, $3 million in our second year, right? Or $3 to $4 million here in our third year. We've got to put just as much, if not more, effort into training those guys so they can keep up with all of that growth that we have on demand. Do you agree with that? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So
what do you think of the first thing that's like the most important? Now we're gonna step out of our roles here as Gutter Growth, and this is just me and Tim talking gutters now.
So Grant, I don't know, I guess we could give it to him a couple different perspectives. I mean, sometimes you're going to run a 2-man crew, a 3-man crew. Sometimes you're a 1-man band. I think that probably the majority of companies right now are probably running a 2-man crew. So maybe, say like if you were on a truck, right, Grant, and you were the lead guy and you had a helper and you pulled up to a job. What is the first thing you do, and kind of can you walk me through the process of start to finish of a typical installation of just a ranch house or some type of residential?
I think I can do that in about 30 seconds or less. And this process, I can tell you, is anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. We put a lot of effort into our startup. So we pull up, we make sure we're parked appropriately. We're not blocking other driveways, and we're thinking about where we're running our gutters out, that our gutters aren't going to be maybe blocking other driveways all day. We're not sticking all the way out in the middle of the road. We're set up for success, nice and close right in front of the house. When the lead gets out, depending on what CRM or anything you're using, you're going to make sure that you hit arrive so that you send back to dispatch that you are actually on site. He's going to immediately get to that front door and knock on the door. Mind you, he's already called on the way and let them know what his ETA is, right? So if they're home and he knows that, he's going to get up and knock on the door. Backtrack a little bit. That helper is going to probably immediately get that sign in the front yard. If it's not already there from the salesperson when they sold it, he's going to start pulling out ladders. He's going to get power, and he may start to pull like those elbows and downspouts out and get them nice and close to the side of the truck, maybe the sidewalk area or something like that. Now I've knocked on the door. I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Grant with Gutter Growth. And I was just curious how you heard about us. Now I'm going to give some secrets right here. Right away, we're prepping for the review, right? Because the review is really important. Hey, how did you hear about us? Oh, we read all of your reviews, etc. Okay, fabulous. Would you mind doing a walk around with me so that we're on the same page? Now, pause for a minute. The salesperson, the owner, whoever went out and sold that job has spent time with them on the phone, in person, drew the diagram. might have already had 4, 5, 6 touches or just one touch. The installer is brand new showing up to the house. I don't care how great your diagram is. Do you want the downspout on the edge, or do you want a 1-inch reveal? Or was it supposed to be 2 foot back? Is it on the coin, off the, all these things, right? Let's just walk once and actually touch the house. You wanted the downspout on this side of the column, correct? Pointing this way, about this high off the ground. We usually make it to where you can put your foot underneath or whatever it is. Quick details, boom, boom, boom. I realize we're not installing this piece. Was there a reason you chose not to go with the full system? Et cetera, et cetera. You want your lead man to be a solutionist on site if this isn't a full wrap, right? Okay, so he's gonna walk. Now, mind you, at that point when they come out of the house, I personally teach and like to make sure, hey, this is Tim. He's my helper today. We like to get everybody involved so that the customer knows who's on their property, not just like I'm the lead and this is, excuse my French, my punk ass helper. Don't worry about him. He doesn't know anything. He's in training. No, we're a team. We're going to take a lot of pride in working on your biggest investment, which is your home. So this is Tim. Tim, let's walk together with the homeowner. Here's what happens. I found in my quarter century of doing this. Me and the customer walk. Tim is back just doing the helper stuff. The customer may inform me of something in the backyard or on the side of the house, and they decide to make a change. Okay, I make a mental note. I'm aware of it. I get around to the front of the house. Maybe I'm gonna take a phone call. My wife might call me. Maybe the boss calls me. Who knows? Maybe the neighbor could walk over and say, "Hey, I'm gonna need a call." And maybe we forget to have that communication. I forget to tell him, "Hey, that downspout's just gonna be on the other side." He could go back there and cut the rake the wrong size or measure that, whatever it is. We got to work together all the way around the house. We get done with the homeowner. We let them know that since they're going to be home, I would like them to come back out in about 30 minutes and see the process, make sure they're happy with it before we get the whole house done, that they like that 6-inch or 7-inch gutter on their home, that they love the color. And of course, we're already having that conversation again, right? We're going with cocoa brown and eggshell downspouts or whatever it is. Now the ladders have been set up. I'm probably starting to get a diagram going or something. I'm had some communication. We call it a pre-job huddle at the back of the truck with the installer. Hey, this one's going to be knocked out. My estimated finish time, it's 8:15 a.m. I'd like to be done with this by about 12:15. Let's talk again at 11 and see how we feel about, where we're at and what we're doing, if we need to slow it down or pick it up or make a change, because we have another job to get to. We need to make sure that not at the last minute we call that customer, I'm supposed to be there in 5 minutes. And
Right.
you're 45 minutes away. No, we're thinking ahead about everything. So here we go. We're starting to measure. I'll give you one trick, and there's tons that I like. I make sure that the helper does not have the, readable tape side. If you're cutting, if you drew the diagram, you are the
Got you
one
measured.
writing every time. Because, oh man, so and so, like, I hate that. Why? Why did he have
Yep.
that end of the tape?
I'm a
Doesn't mean
half
he was
inch
imbecile.
short. Why am I half inch short?
You're going to blame yourself, and you start making sure that you're not to blame, right?
Yeah.
We also pull the same way. Now, a lot of guys, our team, I teach my guys to cut at the face, on the face side, the K style of the gutter, or, the face, what we do a lot of profiles. Some people cut from the back. That's fine. Whatever side you cut on is the way you should pull based off of the way that gutter comes out of the machine. Makes sense? So
Yep.
like if I cut on the face side, then I should pull to the right. Then I'm always having my helper on the right side of the piece. I pull that way. We can have a lot more discussions about why, but I like measuring my outlets on the house because I cut them at the truck. It's just
Okay.
what's fastest for me. What do I know? But that way we can make sure all of our measurements are on point and our outlets, actually work. If we're measuring left to right to this, let's say I'll give you an example when it really comes into play. On like a 3-foot piece, and let's say that downspout's almost in the center, but it's a little bit to the right. How do I know what side he pulled it from? Because he was over there measuring by himself. I take the guesswork out of working on people's biggest investment. That's a huge
Yeah.
waste of time. It's sloppy. Things can go wrong. Things can go wrong for me if I don't have systems in place. So noted, systems work in the office, systems work with the owners, systems work with sales, Systems 100% work with install. Okay, we've got the thing measured up. Boom, we're going to start working. When I measure, I like to put the straps in the wall. And maybe if it's not a 3 or 4 story house out in, on the coast where you're at, where I used to gutter, but your
Yep.
typical ranch house, I've already got my straps and I'm dragging downspouts and elbows with me, offsets. It's not that hard. I built a rake. When I'm up, we measure the rake. Our materials are -6 inches for the rake. I built the elbows. I do downspouts in about a minute,
You
30
build all that at
seconds.
the truck?
No. I build it right there. So, hey,
Okay.
Tim, we're about to go measure. The ladders are already kind of up. Anybody see my custom gutter guy Instagram? I carry all the ladders. We just boom, boom, boom. I like to walk from ladder to ladder, not
Yeah,
move ladders
absolutely.
and not go around a house 700 times. When I get to
That's
that
the
first
key,
couple,
right? I feel like too
yeah,
many guys are going around the house a million times. And even something as simple, if you're going to walk to the truck and there's trash on the ground, pick up the damn trash and make it one
yeah,
trip. And you think you're being lazy and making it easy on yourself. When you don't pick that up, you're actually working more. So now you're doing 2 trips.
100%, Tim. There's so much value in being efficient. I want to reiterate on this because this is really going to be for the non-pros. You pros, you know what you're doing already. You might not ever need to learn anything else. Just retire today because you're perfect. When I do those first couple measurements, when I get to the first downspout, I measure from the wall to the fascia. This is for roughly a 34-degree angle, which is what most elbows are going to have. We call it the break, what that rake's going to be at. We know that why, Tim, because we do a lot of smooth square downspouts, and we
Yep.
have to create that angle with our own elbows. I measure from the wall to the fascia. I -6 inches. I put my 2 elbows together. I set that thing on the ground, and I put my there's so many tricks, man. I said 30 seconds, but let me tell you one more. When you are cutting, I don't care you do hacksaw, all this stuff. I use snips. Everything's got to be cleaned up anyway, unless you're really good with your double cuts. Those have been definitely something worth looking into in the past 5 or 10 years. But I'm very, very quick with my aviator snips. I don't use little
Yep.
yellows and greens to cut down spouts. You just get through these things. When I cut my rake, all of my trimmings are still attached to the whole downspout. There is no garbage to pick up. You guys that are curious about that, reach out and get a hold of me. I will tell you how to have one piece of garbage when you're done cutting a downspout. So now I like to use my pre-crimped end that goes into, that's on my rake, right? I cut that foot off of the pre-crimped end on the downspout.
Yeah, I
I
always
put that
start with a
together.
pre-crimp too.
I love that. It's the cleanest look and it's quick just to get those
That
two
way you don't
elbows.
look
That's
up there and see this big indentation where people tried to cram it in there.
cram it in
You
there.
know?
It's already
Yeah,
ready to
if you
go.
can't do it without that, I can. But if you can't do it without that, use the crimpers, man.
You gotta
That
use the
smashing
crimpers.
shit up, that just looks like trash, and you're
Yeah.
constricting the flow of the water exiting the gutter. It's trash.
And there's some people that know, right? I'm sure me and you could go out there, and if we didn't have our crimps, there's a technique to putting a uncrimped downspout into an elbow and it's still looking perfect.
You got to have your
That
thumb on
takes,
the back seam, and you work it from one side into the
yes,
other, and you press
a
in that
long,
just a little bit, just finesse it, and it'll
it
get in
pops.
there. If you
It'll
have
pop.
to,
But
stick your
that
hand
takes
in the
experience.
yeah, if
It
you
takes a
have
lot
to,
of
stick your
experience.
hand in the elbow and push it back out. But you don't want to have it all crammed together, looking like trash, constricting flow. I
Constricting
mean, it's
flow.
those little things that make you a good company or a bad company. Because that's what the
Yes,
homeowner is
yes.
going to see. They're going to come out here and they're going to look at these crammed in downspouts at the bottom. Now they feel the
Hmm.
whole system's trash. They don't just feel that their elbow at the bottom's trash. They feel the whole
That's
thing
all
is
they
trash.
can visually see, right? So they're
Yeah.
like, oh man, if this is smashed. So yeah, we use the crimped end of the downspout on the rake, to each their own. And then I use crimps because I'm a trainer, right? So I better be doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I crimp my next factory end of the downspout that I've got left, and I put my A elbow on it and I drop that. Now I hit my 2 straps. Talking about straps, you want them consistent. Like I see so many people with the strap like a foot up or around the seam, and everyone on. So I always tell my guys, for training purposes, we get more technical as they get better. Knee and and I try to match up most people of the same size on teams for that when they're rookies. So when I'm hiring somebody and I've got 3 or 4 leads, I like to put somebody about the same size with them. And then we have that conversation. We don't forget to say, Tim, you're 6'9", and Grant, you're 4'11". Your eye and knee aren't going to match up, so you don't get to do downspouts. We have that conversation, or we
Are
tell
you
them, hey,
covering
you
the
can take it.
straps on the 2-story downspouts?
Absolutely, dead in the
Yeah, it's a
middle.
must.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
then that
making
that
sure you're
keeps it congruent too, because they're all going to be in the same spot in the whole house. Because you're gonna, I don't know about you, but I always use a full stick coming down on the first one if I'm doing two.
yes,
And
yes,
the one that I
yes.
cut the top from, that's where I'll use the bottom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We want to hide those. And as you get better and better and better, we could talk about, hiding all the seams, and that's company preference. That's fine, right?
But it's
So
these little
we make,
things, man. It's
yeah,
that quality. It's not smash. And these are simple things. Don't smash
very
your
subtle
elbows.
things. Yeah.
Cover seams, and your downspouts are going to look professional.
There's another
Stand
trick.
back and look at them too. Don't.
You got to stand back and look. I tell my guys they got to use the level at first. So we do a
Yeah.
proof of proficiency. I've been doing that for, it's a new word, the proof of proficiency that I've been using since I'm at the Brothers. But there's a lot of words for it. And I've always just called it like, show me that you know what you got.
Yeah.
Like you got to show me before you get that raise. Oh, boss, I'm ready for a raise. Cool. I'm going to hang out with you for the day, and let's see what you got. So you got to use the level on downspouts, and a lot of people want to use the little torpedoes. That's fine, but I usually teach the new guy to use a 2-foot level on everything, including gutter. If he's already got some gutter experience, you can use some water or whatever. Okay, moving on. You can take the elbows, the elbow, the rake, and the elbow, which we call the top at the rake. You can take that and put that onto your downspout, flip it upside down. I don't know if you know this trick. Put your foot, instead of flat, put your foot up, your heel up in the air against the house. Put that rake on there and ding it against the gutter. Now from that ding, you can make an L shape from most people's hands. Touch that ding and then cut right there. Crimp, put your elbow on. It's going to be perfect for a splash block every single time. But to know those tricks, you've got to join. Hey, how do they get into gutter growth? Guttergrowth.com, right?
Guttergrowth.com. We need an application. We got to see if we even want you in. We might not want you
No,
in.
that's the
We need
main
good
thing. Yeah,
energy. Yeah, we don't accept
you
everybody.
better show us that you got some crimps in your pouch. That is the main thing. We're looking. I want to touch on that just really quick. We aren't just taking everyone in. Me and Tim are the top in the industry. There's some others, but we have been just giving and giving and giving. And we don't want to ruin our reputation by just taking every single person that applies into our group. What happens, Tim, when we do that? Like, you can't
I
make
mean, it's no
everyone
different than
winners.
a bad employee, It's like you get one negative person in there and they kill the culture, and you don't want that. And we want people, you learn by teaching too. So you want people that are wanting to contribute, not just take. You got givers and you got takers, and givers always end up winning more in the end.
Can we see your cup? I think you got a new cup.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
if
my
you
new
can get it
cup.
where
I don't know if you can read it. This is the winner's cup.
the winners,
Other
the
side,
winner's circle.
all I do
All
is
I do
win.
is win. Why do we win? Because we are very selective about who we bring into our circle. You need to be very selective about who you bring into your business. It's all the same. This is our business. Me and Tim run this thing, and it's like we don't want the fast dollar.
No.
That's the it's the same thing with the customers. Like, oh, can you give me 40% off and match your neighbors? You're at $8 a foot, and this guy's only at whatever 450, and I really like you, and you're like, yeah, let's go. That's a stupid move. Move on. Just move on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a numbers
Back
game.
to back to install.
Know your
So
worth.
downspouts somewhat being made. If anything, at least set right there. At each where each outlet's going to be. You don't have to make them there. You might not
So
be that
you're getting
ready.
these made before the gutter's on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're getting them fully made before the
Okay.
gutter's on, all the way around, and the straps on. So now I'm going over to the truck. Now there's a million variations to this. How good is Tim? Is it his first day? Is it his 6th month? Is it his 3rd year? So there's all these variations, but we're gonna just do it kind of like we've been working together for a couple weeks, right? I'm still kind of telling you what to do. I'm gonna get over to the truck, and I'm gonna tell you specifically, I like to start at the front door unless there's something difficult on the house. If there's something difficult, I want to do that first. I always get the hardest thing out of the way. The 3.5 story, the radius, crazy downhill, something. Let's knock the hardest part out. And that's a part of that huddle when we get to the house after we've spoken with the customer. Hey, Tim, man, this one's a real doozy. It's 125 today. Neither of us really want to be here, but we're here. We told ourselves when we woke up this morning that we were all in on this day. So, man, let's be super efficient. Let's go knock out the hard thing before it gets really hot. We already know what it's going to be. And we didn't quit yesterday. We didn't quit the day before. We're not quitting today. You got to have those huddles. A lot of people, a lot of installers, and I've had those guys like, nah, man, I you don't got to tell me what to do. I know what to do. I'm like, yeah, how much did you make last year installing gutters?
Crickets.
Exactly. Yeah, crickets, because I've been making 100,000 plus a year installing gutters since, I don't know, 15 years or something. You know, after my first 10 years, I was like, I'm never going to make less than 100,000 a year. This is too easy. So it's really easy for you installers to be aware that there's great money. We get to cut and gutter, whether you're tabbing, strip miter, and box miter, and all that. That's your personal preference. We can have another chat about that. I don't really care to chat about it. You do what you feel is best, and that's going to be your image forever.
Quick question. When you build the downspouts, you got the helper participating in that, and he's helping you get them all built. You get, is that like a together effort?
If he's brand new, I'm going to show him. I lead by example. I never just go, make those downspouts, bro. No. I train first. I lead by example. I'll give you a quick example. I hired a female to run my shop, and I told her you're on a 2-week training period. Okay, what's that going to look like? You watch me work for 2 weeks? Why would I want to throw you into the jungle? Like, you don't become a lawyer just, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, go to the courtroom. Now you got to go to school for a while, and the professor talks. He doesn't care what you have to say. He's going to teach and teach and teach. It's the same thing if you're working with me with gutters. I'm going to not let you do a ton those first 2 weeks, because once I give you a task and you've watched me do it, 2, 3, 4 houses a day for 2 weeks, you've seen it done 20 times, and I go, hey, can you build that? Now, I'm not like, don't touch it. You can't do it. You're not ready. No, I'm all about giving, hey, man, I think I can do that after watching it 3 times. Absolutely.
That's how they're
going to learn. I get the timer going. On the downspouts, I get the timer going every time. Your first downspout, let's go. Bink.
Now, what time are you trying to get them to eventually get those done in?
I mean, realistically, I like 3 to 5 minutes on a downspout. Okay. I don't think
I used to have a 4-minute downspout, but I didn't pre-build them.
Yeah.
I did mine a little bit different than you.
If we might have to have a little, so we both TAPCon, right?
Yes.
We both TAPCon. If we're talking a 1-story downspout, I'm about 1:30, and not pre-built, like from building to, but I've trained thousands and thousands and thousands of people to do downspouts. Now, where I'm not the fastest for the longest time is hanging gutter from the roof. And I know you'd probably smoke me. Corey Bigham.
I'm fast at that.
This guy's like so fast. From doing it so long, my hips, my knees, my stuff, I've never been really flexible. Like, I know Corey in particular can sit Indian style at the edge of the roof. I'm sure you've seen him do it, and reach all the way over and like touch the soffit underneath.
There's a trick to that. I put my, especially on the tile roofs or any roof,
I do the same thing. Yeah.
I put my left foot like this, and then my right foot I hook in.
Yeah.
So that's like my, that keeps you from sliding. That one foot,
100%.
That other leg kind of hooks you in, and then you're good.
But can you touch your toes?
Yeah.
Like standing up? I've never been able to touch farther than my knees.
I used to pull when I would have to pull from the roof. I used to pull standing up from the roof.
Oh, well,
like bending down.
That's how I like doing it.
Yeah.
So, little secret about me, I've never been able to reach much farther than past my knees standing up. I have the worst flexibility. So, I mean, I've hung a tremendous amount. I sit the same way, but I can't reach all the way under like Corey can and touch the fascia.
Yeah.
I can pull drip, I'm a gutter wonder over here, but I know what I'm good at, and I know what there's other people that are good at. Downspouts, I'm the truth with those downspouts. But helper, the helper very quickly while we're measuring, I had a lead guy last year say something to me like, "Man, I'm the lead. I just don't know why I should have to be doing that."
To doing
And
what?
I can't remember specifically what it was, but I was really disappointed. And I said, "You're the one that gets paid the most on the truck. You should be doing everything. You should be leading by example no matter what." Too many of these leads think, all I got to do is cut gutter, man. My helper should be moving as fast as me. Then make him great. And then let's get him to go run another truck. People are looking for slaves. I've seen it for, my whole gutter career. So many gutter guys are like, no, I cut. And the helper's like, man, you think I could cut today? Nah, man, that's you don't get to do that.
Yep.
Because I mean, I get it. You've earned that right to stand on the concrete for 8, 9 hours. I don't like that anymore. I'd rather be in some grass, moving around. The day goes by a little quicker. Hi, this is Grant Hubbard with another Gutter Growth podcast for you. I want you to know that this podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, your exclusive premium guard option. Now enjoy the show. I can also cut 1,000 feet of gutter by noon or 1 starting at 8 in the morning. It doesn't matter, 7-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch. I cut gutter really fast so I can get over there and actually help get the work done.
I've ran different models before. I've ran it to where the helper's pulling and you're cutting. Then I've also
Yeah,
ran it to where you're doing everything together. And
I
like
really
while
like
you're
that
running it
model the
out and
best.
cutting, they're getting hangers in and they're moving it. So you could do it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you both will have more energy when you do it together.
Yeah, you're gonna kill
But
your
I've done it both
helper.
ways successfully. There's a million ways to skin a cat. Like my processes are a little bit different than yours, but our end result's beautiful.
Beautiful, and we're
Yeah,
not there all day.
right.
So I'm in Texas, but we're both Florida installers at heart, right? You're still
Yeah,
there, and we can agree that all around the country there's a lot of great installers, right? We understand that there's talent everywhere. Just something about these Florida boys, and people don't believe it, and you know it, and I know it.
yeah,
There's several days working over at Jerry's that 2 guys, me and Corey, me and James, me and Alejandro, probably a couple other people, but me and Corey specifically, it was nothing to do 1,000 foot of gutter and 600 foot of downspout and be off by 4.
yeah,
I don't understand. And we pulled the drip. We did it the right way. We're two, masters in the industry. And people are like, man, there's no way you're cheating. I bet it looks like shit. And I'm like, okay, that's your opinion. I don't care. What you don't have is systems, and you didn't work together, and you probably don't know how to use your tools. And I see people using like siding shears to cut gutter and downspouts and like big, heavy, wonky. You just don't know the process. What do you feel about that? Have you seen people? Obviously, you have. I mean, hang tremendous amounts of footage in Florida that no
yeah.
one else thinks is possible.
Yeah, I mean, I was a one man band for most of the first 5 years I was in it. Not all of it, but most of it. Actually, my boss used to get pissed because he said I'd run everybody off. So I was a slave labor. So
were
when I was young,
were
I was
you?
like 18,
Yeah,
19.
yeah. I mean, no, me
Yeah, I'm
too, for
like, go,
sure,
go,
man.
go. But I
I'd
was
have
making
no
a hundred
time for it.
thousand a year back then. And you're talking
Mm-hmm.
at 450 a foot. I
Yep.
got paid 20% of the truck, and
Yep.
every single job got pulled. And this Florida drip's not like some of that drip up north. It isn't this paper shit. You're talking about
No.
thick 3 inch metal, like
Steel is so
steel.
hard.
Yeah, pry bar type
Uh
stuff.
huh. Uh huh.
Mostly I like to do it with my hands because I felt like it's a clean, but sometimes you get this monster stuff that you ain't getting
You
with your
got to
hand.
pry bar it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
such a nightmare.
so I was doing all that. I would try to have the whole house measured and pulled by like 9:30 in the morning, 10
Mm-hmm.
o'clock, and then I would try to have all the gutter made. Like say if I was on a project, because when I was a one man band, I could do like 2,000, 2,500 bucks a day.
Yep.
Back
Yep.
then at 450 a foot.
That was a
And
lot of work. I know.
Yeah, a lot of work. And, by 12 o'clock, I'd try to have everything measured, made, and pulled. I'd have all the gutter made. By 2 o'clock, I'd have all the gutter installed. Then I started on the downspouts last. Um, I did my downspouts a little differently. I did it. I just wasn't, I was always paranoid about measuring and then pre-cutting them.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I'd be off or something. So I just didn't like that idea. I know some people are really good at it, but I just didn't want to bother with that. So I didn't spend the time measuring to get the downspout holes cut. I would just cut it all up there and
Yeah, and that's fine too.
do it on the
We
spot.
X-cut in Florida, right?
I'd put the first elbow on, and
Yeah,
then I would have an elbow on the first downspout. I didn't measure like you. I mean, I had
just
to
line it up.
obviously. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would
yeah, but
slide
just
it up
lined it
there,
up.
but you
Yep.
want to slide it up there at the angle of the downspout. So you got that perfect
Mm-hmm.
pitch. So you want to kind of match up the angle, and I would mark it um, where the first elbow is, where the perforations stop, and that's where I'd make my cut, and it would be a perfect crossover every time. Um, then I liked covering both seams if I could. If you
Yeah,
can put that
top and
top
bottom.
seam
Yeah.
where that downspout's hitting the wall, then
Mm-hmm.
the downspout looks seamless.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for
two-story, you
sure.
cover that seam in the middle.
I can tell you where I save a lot of time, how I can do those downspouts so fast that you put the elbows and the stick and the straps on the ground is always me personally always having a pouch on with all my stuff, Dapcons, drills. I've done some videos on my
Yeah,
custom driller
otherwise you're
guy
getting
about
up
my
down. I don't have this. I don't have
yeah.
that. You ought to just have it
What I
all.
found, what I found with measuring was I was able to just be a little faster because I got that measurement of the rake when I got the measurement of the gutter. So I already knew exactly what my rake had to be, and I knew it was going to be 6. But pretty decent memory. Not on like 70 downspouts, but when you got 4, 5, 6 downspouts, and I go, okay, 6, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5, and then 4 on that front left, I'm never going to forget that. And so when I get over there, respectfully, you're walking up to do that. I'm already in the process of making it. Boom. When I go up, I put my screws. I've got my whole rake made. Now I know exactly where my strap's supposed to be. I moved it. I'm probably already putting in that strap while, you're about to hold and measure. And that's just something that it's probably one of the things I'm absolutely the best at in gutters is making downspouts. That's pretty simple. Radiuses and all that I can do too, but just something
Yep.
I'm good at. Just
You
something
know
I'm
what I'm
really.
the fastest at, and
What's
probably
that?
I don't think anyone's faster than me. Even to this day, I don't think anyone is. Tear
Yeah.
offs,
Whew.
beast.
Yeah. You got to
Yeah,
be quick at that. You can lose a lot of time, right?
a lot of time.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever do? I had to tell a guy the other day. Not had to. He was asking. He was showing me this crate. I want to show this to you after we get off the air. It's like this handmade, really crazy gutter, and he's like, "Dude, I've never seen anything like this. Like from the 1900s or something." I want a piece of that. Send me like 2 1-foot pieces. He's like, well, it's spike and frilled in. I'm probably going to damage it. It's got these massive railroad spikes going through the real timber on the house. I said, you don't know how to get that out without damaging it? He's like, no, man. Remember the bolt cutters we do in Florida? I was
Yeah,
like, you
you
can hit it with
snap
the
it,
bolt cutter.
cut
Yeah.
cut those out, and then you take the bolt cutters and
Ha!
you go to the very back of the
Jerk that bad
spike
boy out.
where it's
Bam.
hitting the fascia, and you just barely pinch it, and then you pull
Mm-hmm.
back, and it'll pull that spike out, and you don't have to
Tim
worry
ain't
about
ready for
taking a
it.
bear claw or anything and try to knock the spike out, which I could do
They're
it
not
that way
ready for
too.
it.
I mean,
They're not
before
ready.
I figured out the bolt cutters way, it was all a bear claw or 2 hammers.
Yeah.
You can
2
still do
hammers. Yeah.
it. You just pop it real quick and then, but no, the bolt cutters that's the money.
They're not ready for it. So listen, if you guys want to know the tricks about bolt cutters, about measuring downspouts, about cutting downspouts, about efficiency, about what your team should be doing when they get to the house and then before they leave the house, and all these little teeny processes, Tim, would you agree? Like, let's cut the nonsense about installing 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 feet. We didn't do that every single day. We had weeks where we did it week after week, but we were burnt out, right?
I
So
cared more about revenue than like, oh, I did 1,000 feet. I
yeah,
didn't
who
really give a
cares?
shit. How
Yeah,
much money did
no,
I make today? I wanted to make
yeah,
about $500 when I was
yep.
installing.
So that's about 400 to 700 feet with a 2-man crew. Would you agree? Roughly 400 to 700 gutters and
Yeah,
downspouts.
yeah,
That's
on
a
average.
quality day. It's a quality day every day. You're gonna make 400, 500, $600 every single day getting that thing done. So you've got the customer. Go ahead and get them to come out, get them involved in the process. There's like so much more we could talk about, and we will. I want you guys to stay tuned to our podcast. We're gonna start to help you. Like, you're just gonna carry the basket around a grocery store, and we're gonna put items in there and tell you these recipes. And you're gonna go home and you're gonna make it, and you're gonna see how it tastes, and you're gonna go, why have I not been eating this way the whole time? And that's what we're gonna help you do for your business. Look forward. We're gonna introduce some things where they're gonna be able to come out and hang out with us, right? Or
Yeah,
we'll come to
absolutely.
them,
We're gonna have
whatever it is.
we'll put on a course where me and Grant are gonna teach you how to hand cut miters. You know,
Yeah.
hay
Make these
gutter,
downspouts.
half round. We teach you how to build box downspouts. You
Mhm.
know, this custom end, you know, a lot of the places in the country, they don't even know how to hand cut miters, but none of their competition is doing it. You know, if
Right.
you're doing it, not only are you saving, I don't even know how much a strip miter is per piece.
It depends
12,
on the
15
7-inch
bucks,
or 6-inch. I mean, you're looking at,
20
like
bucks,
three to $10. Let's just
three to
say
10. Okay.
$3 to $10 for including box miters, right? I talk to
Yeah,
people
box
that are
miters
at
are a little
like
bit more
three.
pricey, aren't they?
I don't even want to talk about box miters.
But the thing
We'll talk about
is, you know,
strip miters and handguns.
you know, you learn how to do this, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with a box miter or a strip miter. I'm
No.
not saying that, so I'm not bashing those guys at all. But if you're the only one that could do it, you're going to
Dun,
be a
dun,
bigger
dun.
company. Ta-da, you know, you're going to be the only company in your area doing it. It's going to put you above the rest, and you're saving $10 a miter. You're probably saving $1,000 a month on the small end if you're running one truck, several
Yep.
thousand if you're running a couple. And you imagine you could just put that money into AdWords or marketing and get more
I'll give
jobs.
a
You know, why
I'll give
waste it
a
on something you don't have to buy?
I'll give some math right now, and we're at a higher level than we're in the 1 percentile, probably, my
Yeah.
location in Austin, but 33.5 houses, not full, but that's how many jobs we go to a week. And so let's just say roughly that there's 5 miters on each of those houses. That's fair to say, right? Some are going to have 12, 13,
I
16.
mean,
Some are end capped, end capped.
that's probably
Light.
very low. So I think that's the
Okay,
furthest
so
we
let's
can
go
get.
let's go a little higher. Let's go 8. Let's just say 8 miters roughly on each of those. That's 268 miters a week. Let's just say they're $4. It's 1,072. I don't need to do the rest of the math.
Right.
It's
Imagine
50 or
how much better that
60,000.
money could be spent. And you know, they say, oh, it takes longer. No, it doesn't. No, no,
No,
it
it
doesn't.
doesn't. That's
It
BS.
doesn't. You know, with the strip miters, how you're trying to line up so it matches the height, especially if you got pitch on it like you're supposed to be doing. You
Yeah.
know, you're trying to match it up so it lines up, and not with hand cut. You just put it up there and the other one butts into it and you slam it up and it's exactly where it needs to go. So I feel like on the installation side of things, it's going to speed up. It gets put together faster than a strip miter does. You're not
Well, it's
fighting
less.
something
Yeah.
getting in the way when you're trying to stick the back of the strip miter up, and
True.
you got one seam, so you're caulking less. We're not even talking about the money you're going to
Well,
save on
it's
caulking.
less screws too. It doesn't matter. I don't want to get into how people screw it, whether they use 20 or 1 screws, but you're going to do 1 on each side of the strip miter. And if you put them in the bottom, I don't put anything in the bottom, and then 2 in the back and all this and that, right? So this is just, you're saving. Let's say it just takes the same amount of time. At first, yes, people are scared. It's going to take you a hair longer. You got to learn the process. Just a hair. It's really, really, really simple.
Maybe on the cutting end of it, not on the installation. So it's a wash.
Yeah. It's a wash, but you only got to put 1 set of rivets or screws. You only got to use 1 seam of caulk. And just for you box miter guys, I do want to just say this. And I grew up on box miters, spike and furl in the early 90s. I know about it and I used them, and that's when I realized that I didn't need them, because when they were falling apart on me, busting at the seam, and I was like, "Oh, this is just okay. We don't need these. This is a waste of money." But you've got to caulk. You better be caulking that factory seam in the middle. Then you've got to caulk the sides. And other people caulk underneath, like inside the gutter. Then, or I'm sorry, the bottom of the gutter. Then push it up. Then caulk that seam. Then Caulk's expensive. I know most of you guys are paying $6, $7, $8 a tube for geocell. Bulk buy. I don't pay that. That's way less than that because we buy it by the pallet. If you're in the gutter business, buy your stuff by the pallet. Come off that check. Write the check, get it done. Start advertising well. Buy certain things in bulk. Like stop buying 2 boxes of hangers. Go to Truss or whoever your company is. We order 20, 30 cases of hangers at a time. And that only lasts, a couple weeks. So get your margins down, start making money. And Tim, you are correct. Absolutely. If we were saving $1,000 ish a week in miters, that's 50, 60 grand. What should we do with that money, you think?
Grow the business, put it back into
Grow,
equipment, put it into
grow the
advertisement,
business.
put it into an asset. The personally, if you're just pissing away the money, that's a liability. So having
Yep.
having the strip miters and the box miters are kind of a liability because you didn't need it and you're just pissing away money. But you could take
Yeah.
that money and put it into something that you're gonna get a return, whether it's new equipment for the guys, gear, company shirts,
Yeah,
guys,
exactly. Swag, parties,
whatever it is.
bonuses.
Even if it's $1,000, you want to pay yourself a bonus. I think you could
Yeah.
enjoy that more than you can just giving it away for nothing.
Just
And you're
giving it
going to put
away for
yourself at a
nothing.
higher skill level. Challenge yourself, guys. Don't just try to be the best at what you do. If there's anything that me and Grant's always tried to do is we tried to be the best. And if we aren't the best, we're going to eventually get there, right?
Yeah, we're there. We're there.
Yeah,
There's
fail
no going
forward.
back now. Fail
You know?
forward. Yeah, and we've made a couple mistakes. Obviously, a lot of them in our life, but we're trying to
Many.
make sure right now that we're not making them in our business, right? We talk
Ronnie,
so
if we
much
make
right
a
now, like,
mistake, we only want to make it once.
mm-hmm,
Learn from it. Don't make it.
mm-hmm, yeah.
And what are you afraid of? Screwing up a piece of gutter? I mean, you're still saving money every single time you're not doing it. So get over the one piece of gutter you might screw up trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that briefly. So, okay, yeah, I've had a couple people say, "Man, my guys are gonna mess up gutter." Your guys are already messing up gutter. Your
Yeah.
guys are already messing up. If that's the first thing that comes to your mind, well, my guys don't really know how to measure. Like, oh my, send them our way. Let's teach them how to measure. If they don't know how to measure, but send them down. We'll teach them how to hand cut. If your margins are already slim, get rid of the box miters, get rid of the strip miters. We'll teach you very, very quickly how to hand cut miters. It is beyond easy. You guys
If
have
you guys
no
are
clue
interested
what
in
you're
something
missing.
like that, because me and Grant are going to be putting these on this year, reach out to us, send us a message so we know you're interested.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love, I like that idea. If you see this podcast and you're interested on learning anything about installation, anything
Teach your
specific,
employees.
yeah, send us a message. We want to start to collect some data. We will be doing it this year. We will be hosting an event that you can come to and learn high level installation tactics. Absolutely, whether it's soldering, half round, box,
Downspouts.
downspouts, doing smooth downspouts, round downspouts, mitering round downspouts. I got a paint grip job coming
Miter
up.
and half round.
They don't want elbows. They want just to use the downspouts, and it's 4-inch round, mitering half round, radiuses, you name it. Reach out to us immediately and say, I'm interested. So that
Radiuses
we
are
can
actually very easy, and it's like
so
people are
easy.
so scared of it. It's almost easier than a
Mhm.
regular miter.
Did you see the video? Kirby, what is it? Oklahoma Kirby appeal. He's in our group, right? And he talked to me over the phone. He's like, "Hey, I told
Oh
you about.
yeah.
I've
The
got
in and
this
outs.
snake.
Yeah, the
It was
snake.
up, down, around. I mean, it was probably like
And you
50
were able
feet
to
of
help him
gutter.
out over the phone with that.
Helped him out over the phone. That thing
He's
came
one
out
of our
amazing. It was
he's in our mastermind group.
first time ever doing something like that, and he was so excited. And I helped him out. I mean, I'm going to hold myself to this. I helped. We had maybe 4 or 5 phone calls the first afternoon, about 5 minutes each. The second day we had a follow-up. He called me, he said, I think this is coming out well. Would you take a look at my first 6 or 7 pieces? I gave him a couple tips and tricks. We talked for maybe 15 minutes and he finished that whole thing and he was ecstatic about it. So I might have had a half hour or so into training him over the phone. Imagine if we were together in person.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the mastermind group. If you join it, we got your back. It's not just the meetings that we have. If you got an issue like that, we try to show up for you. And it's a
Yeah.
community. So the guys in the group try to show up for you too. I mean, we've had guys going to each other's shops and training each other, learning
Yeah.
half round because one of our guys is getting a half round machine and one of our other guys already has it. So he's kind of showing them the ropes. So, I mean, networking is where it's at and having that community of people that could help you. And especially when they're not in your same territory, right? Now
Yes.
they're not trying to hide anything from you. It's not like, oh, you're going to take from me, so I don't want you to learn. You got
Mm-hmm.
guys that aren't even near you and they're there to help you.
Yeah, we're not into the I'll tell you guys, I just signed somebody up that is a local competitor of mine. Literally across the street. It doesn't matter. When I say I want the industry to grow, I'm not in competition with him. Not because we're bigger, we're badder, we're better, we spend more money. Some of those things may or may not be true. If he becomes better locally in Austin, he invests more in his company, he will charge more. I get to charge more. There is enough gutters to go around for everyone. Unless you're in the middle of nowhere and there's only 300 houses and
We're
you're the
not going to
only
teach you
guy.
that going cheap to sell the jobs, how to sell a job, are we?
Not by any
No.
means. Yeah. And we're going to be realistic with you. I'm not going to come out and tell you,
That's
man, you're going to get,
16.50 a foot,
no,
those
I mean,
regions.
can you get it? And yeah,
Yes.
of course. Can you get it nationally across the country?
No.
No, hell no. And you can go, oh, Leaf Guard's this, well, Leaf Guard's scamming people and doing all kinds of stuff. But there's a fine line. We'll tell you where that is. And listen, if you can get 16, 18, 20 bucks a foot, by all means, go ahead. We do that
There's
often.
markets for that. Those markets for
Yeah.
that's, I would do it too, but
We
not
know
every.
your market though. That's the difference. Me and Tim know your market. We're not just going to
You've been
BS
in
you and
40
say,
states. I've been in 8. I
yeah,
got friends in all 50.
all of them. Yeah, we'll tell you, hey, 8.50, $9 right here is a really good price. We're going to help you with your partnership with the suppliers. And listen, it doesn't have to just be Spectre. Spectre might not be in your area. We'll help you with that local supplier too. You might not have the cojones or the wherewithal, respectfully, to call your local competitor and know what to say to help you get your price down. I'll do it for you. I got you. And I probably absolutely know somebody at that supplier. So when you come into the group, we have so much for you, and not just like a book. Here's how you do it. I don't know how to do it, but the book will tell you how to do it. You need systems, but you can't just throw a bunch of systems at somebody and say, okay, be successful. Well, what
Everybody
about,
has different goals too. Like, we get some guys in the group, their first goal is to get off the truck. Some guys want to go from 2 trucks to 3 trucks. Whatever that is, whatever that goal is and that plan, it's kind of personalized and we could get you there. There's strategy to get you where you want to go. We
it's
can
different
help you
for
with that
everybody,
strategy. It's
correct?
not one size fits all.
I
And
agree.
and you're learning from everybody else's perspectives in the group. You're seeing what this guy's going through and and you understanding, like, I don't know about you, but whenever I walk into a business, I don't care what it is. I just naturally do it. I start picking apart that business. It could be a restaurant. It could be a bookstore. I just think about the dynamics of it and, how that business operates and how they make profit. When you see how other gutter companies are doing it in different models, even though it's not your exact model, it's going to help you somewhere piece something together for yourself. You got to see different perspectives.
100%, 100%. I put the Mario up today for this
Okay.
topic, and I wanted to touch base on that a little bit. Did you ever play Mario when you were
Yeah,
younger?
yeah, of course.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a long time, and I wanted to throw a little analogy why I want that thing to be up behind me, and I'm gonna redo some stuff here in the back, so that's a little bit more prevalent. But when you turned the game on and you started to run and you came to that first box, it was always the same thing in that box, correct? Like you hit
Yeah.
it, you knew you were about to get a flaming whatever, or the you could fly, or a mushroom and you would grow, right? You were really excited about it. Well, that's not how life always is. But when you have systems in place and you have a good coaching team behind you, you know that box right there is gutter growth. And that's you. And all you have to do is come up and punch it, and you're going to get the same thing every time. And it's going to be exactly what you need. And I wanted to touch base on that with what you said, how we tailor each system. This is not a one size fits all. Everybody's got a different vision. I talked to one of the new guys in our group that just signed up. I said, "What's your why?" Right? We're helping them with the vision. He says, "I'm going to leave this business to my kids." Absolutely. I'm going to prepare him differently than if he's like, "I'd love to exit and sell this thing in 5 years."
Right.
We're going to buy, well, we're not going to just go crazy buying stuff, but we're going to structure differently. Okay, we need to get a building built and really create a home in the local community. And I need you doing a lot more community-based stuff versus just turning revenue and keeping track of your book so you can sell this thing and show you have a big customer base. You're going to treat this thing differently. Some things you might buy some cheaper stuff if you plan on selling in a decade versus if this is going to be your forever. Instead of maybe spending 15,000 on a forklift, maybe you want to spend 40,000 on something that's going to last a couple. You know what I mean? We're going to tailor this thing to what you
Some guys want to
want.
run less crews. Let's do one crew. Let's do all custom stuff. Let's do high end. We got one guy in our group, right? He's mainly doing half round for the most part, and he's high end. His profits are up 25% in the past year compared to the previous year. And he's been in gutter growth all last year. You know,
Hey, it's a bunch of winners. Any last words on install? I think the guys working together, but like you said, there's not one size fits all. So
I think the main thing on an installation perspective, especially when I was on a truck and how I like to have it ran, is just don't waste time. You know, you're out there, you don't want to waste any time, so you want to have all the procedures and processes in place so that you're always doing something and that job's moving along. You know, like when I get there, I didn't necessarily have the helper come up and talk to the homeowner with me, which that's fine. That's a good idea too. But what I did was I would go do that and I would catch up the installer, you know, with what I walked around with the homeowner. But the walk around's important, right? Because that's going to stop a lot of problems. You know, the downspout's in the wrong place. Now I got to go back. Same thing at the end. Walk around with them at the end. Your callbacks are going to go down by like 80% because it's always something stupid. This downspout's directed the wrong way. It was supposed to be on this side of the wall. It's always something stupid that a walk around could help. But what I would do is I would get to the job. I would do that walk around. I wanted my helper to run that cord out, to get those ladders out, get me set up. So as soon as I'm done talking to that homeowner, we're ready to jump on the roof and measure, or ready to go around with the ladders and measure. You know, I would measure that job. You know, depend, like I ran it a couple different ways. So say if we were going to do it together, we'd both start measuring the house together and laying out all the downspouts and accessories, you know, or he would, if it was a drip edge pull job, either we'd do that together or I'd have the drip edge being pulled by the helper while I was making. But the whole thing is to always have movement going and always be doing something. And if you're walking around the house and you see stuff on the ground, pick it up. So I think being efficient and being fast, with quality, right? Don't rush anything. It's just always be doing something because then you don't have to rush. You're just in a system that where you're always getting something done because this is a production business.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not big on, I'm not against, and I'll hear anybody out. I'm not real big on the hourly pay. And just an example.
I'm not either.
Anybody, it can work for some, and I get it. And anybody that knows me knows I will hear you out, and my way is not the best way. But I've only been doing it for 25 years, and I know what I'm talking about. Why would an installer making, oh, I pay my guy well. Okay, let's say you pay him $30 an hour. Good job. You pay him $30 an hour and you say, here's a $3,000 job. And he immediately, like anyone does, says 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180, 210. Okay, this thing needs to take me about 7 hours to make X amount. Or you tell me and Timmy, here's your percentage. 3.5 hours later, that thing's done. We're not
Where's
just
the
going
next
home.
job?
We're gonna go do another job. Yeah, and of course, anybody that thinks that they wouldn't have me and Tim pouch up tomorrow and come do their personal home because those guys, we see them all over online. I bet you they're both hacks. I don't know how they've made it to the
There's nobody that'll say I'm a hack. Anybody that knows that business,
nobody,
there's
yeah,
nobody.
crazy. And we're gonna go
I
do
challenge you to find that.
$5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for you, just me and Tim in our age today. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
Right. So this isn't a competition, but it's to let you know we can get your young whippersnappers that are young bucks. We can get
We will
them
run you
doing
into
it
the
for
ground.
you. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was a great chat. And so yeah, we're gonna be having a training coming out. You guys look forward to that. I'm gonna throw a couple crazy things out here. I always do. First and foremost, if you're in gutter growth, you're already in the family, right? You're going to be able to have access to this. We're going to take care of you. I've already said, and this isn't on Tim's end, so don't be calling Tim like Grant said but you brothers gutters folks that are already in my other family, you get the training. You get it. Come on down. I've already made it very, very clear. Come on down to the Austin location. I'm not doing more than a week training for anyone. Gutter growth, randoms, new people, brothers gutters, you got to leave some room. There's only so much here. I will train you. If you're not in our gutter growth family or our brothers gutters family, you're going to have to cough up a little bit of money. I guarantee you it's worth it. I guarantee you. You don't like what you've learned after a day or two, you're going to tell me right away. You can get on a plane and go.
The reason why it's gutter growth is because we have a growth mindset. We want to grow. So, I mean, do the same thing in your business. If you don't know how to hand miter, why do you not want to be better? Why do you not want to learn a skill that you don't know? Don't just dismiss it as, that's trash. How do you know? You ain't doing it. You don't know how to do it. You don't know shit. You know?
Oh, Tim, here we go, brother. Hey, it's good. This is the big boy stuff. We want you guys to have access to this stuff. If you're using, if you're using strip miters, it's fine. If you're using
there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not knocking the gutter system. You got a great gutter system. What we're knocking is that you can save money and you can be better. You can grow. You can do something that you don't know how to do now. When do you start dying? You start dying as soon as you stop learning. And that's scientific.
Absolutely. Go Lions. My Lions are playing today. If anybody wants to know how fast we put out our stuff, get it edited and get it rolling. Today is Sunday, January 28th. It is 11:47. I'm not the biggest football fan in the world, but my Lions are going to win today against 49ers. Please, 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 and possibly go to the Super Bowl if they do that. Tim, as always, I appreciate you joining me. I'm so glad you're back from the lighting. Hey, guys, stuff to look forward to. We've got talks about lighting. We've got talks about training. We've got talks about installation. Tim's going to be talking with Bren from GutterCon. Look for our booth. I'm going to tell you, look for 3 booths at GutterCon specifically that I'm going to shout out. We've got Gutter Growth going to be there. We've got Gutter App, and we've got Mr. Pipeline. We're kind of all intertwined. Come look if you're not
all in the family. We're all partners.
Yeah, there's other guys there that are going to be doing great things, but make sure you stop by one of our booths and have a chat with us about what we have to offer you. And yeah, we're going to be at Gutter Growth. We're going to be at GutterCon. We're going to be having a blast. We're going to be doing podcasts there. We're going to be having all kinds of content. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 gutter companies I'm interviewing in the next week and a half. Stay tuned for that. Tim, I know you've got some stuff coming up.
I do.
I've got it. I got a tool guy. I showed you this guy. I've got a guy that does like they send him like every kind of tool possible on Instagram. And I'm really, really excited to have this guy on. He has a ton of followers, but I want to talk with him about certain kinds of tools that we're talking about in the trades. And where I'm going with that is everybody using the impact drills versus the chuck drills. I've got something for you that can knock off 50% of the time that it takes for you to screw in a hanger. So come grow with us. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate you as always.